Hey guys, welcome along to another episode of Double Tap, where today I'm going to talk about new toys I've bought, and we're in the inbox.
This is Double Tap, where blind people talk tech. Here's Stephen Scott and Shaun Preece.
People keep saying, why do you come back day after day for this? I think that was the listener that actually was asking another listener that question.
I thought that was Mr. F asking us.
A bit of both. I think everyone at some point, at some point or place in the listenership to this thing has asked that question. Why do we keep coming back to this? I come back because I laugh a lot. Mostly at your expense, I will admit, Shaun Preece.
Yeah. Every time I hurt myself, I believe it is. Yeah.
It's kind of amusing.
Got that. I'd find it disturbing that you've still got that gym clip of me falling over in the gym.
Yeah.
So readily at hand, to be honest, Stephen Scott.
If you're asking if it's there right now, the answer's no. I don't have it on a button.
No. Yeah, are you sure?
No, I don't think I do. Hang on, let's just check. No, just the dog. The nice dog. Oh, the cat's there as well. No, never the twain should meet. Yeah. Shall meet. Should meet. Anyway, hello. It's been a bit of a weird week, hasn't it? It's been a bit of a strange week, because we started off, of course, with our amazing special we did with Deborah and Chris in the kitchen. I'm saying that to remind you, because I bet you've forgotten already.
How dare you? There was a fry-up involved. Of course I remember. Yes, it was beautiful.
And then Tuesday
it was really good. It was it was really good, though. Because honestly, I know, people say, oh, I don't cook, but it is a real issue for me. And that really did show me some tips. I did like that.
Yeah, no, like genuinely useful stuff, right? I mean, and I think just the whole experience of listening to both Deborah and Chris talk about what they do and how they were doing it as they were going along, it was really useful, because you could have had that conversation without being in the kitchen. I don't think it would have hit the same way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Can you really do that? Do you know what? It inspired me so much that I made, when was that? Tuesday? I made a chicken casserole, Stephen Scott.
What?
On the stove.
What?
I didn't air fry it. I didn't stick it in a slow cooker. I didn't microwave it. I actually made it. And it was easy.
No, I call rubbish on this.
What? Why? What are you saying?
Hang on. No, right. A chicken casserole has a lot of ingredients in it.
Okay. Now, look, I'm not saying I'm Gordon.
Yeah, wrote it back now. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm Gordon Ramsay. I did buy a pack of chicken fillets, threw them in, stirred them around a little bit to brown them.
That's something,
Right? And then I opened a bag full of casserole mixed vegetables from the freezer.
There we go.
Threw that in. And then
now you're a hero. That's it. That's my Shaun.
Schwartz casserole mix in some water, measured out by my daughter because I don't have an accessible measuring jug, and threw that in, and then left it for an hour. So look, it wasn't. But the point is, just using that hob, I've got a terrible, inaccessible gas stove. And it does make me nervous because I have tipped a few pans over when I've tried it before, boiling an egg. If I don't get that pan centered, but you know what? It was fine. It was fine. And it was nice. And the entire family enjoyed it and even ate it, Stephen Scott. So it was cool.
And hang on, let's just check around the room. Everyone survived?
Yeah, no, everyone survived.
Oh, well done.
Even had it the following day, the leftovers. There you go. So I am Gordon Ramsay. I take it all back.
You're a hero, my friend. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. No, that's great, honestly. And that gave you the. I feel bad because I just called her Chinese that night. I feel really bad now. I ate it as if I'd eaten it or created it by myself.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you inhaled it. Yeah.
I enjoyed it in the same way that I would have if I'd made it myself. No, I remember. It's funny. Years ago, I'm talking years ago, I made my wife bolognese. And I was really spaghetti bolognese, and I thought, this
another
is
classic.
Yeah. And I did a stir fry once or twice as well. And I don't know what happened. Just something, again, probably around about the same time the vision started to go. I thought, I'm not going to try that. And it just becomes an excuse, doesn't it? It's hard. I know it's like, in the moment, it doesn't feel like an excuse, because an excuse feels like a really kind of easy way to write something off.
I can't be bothered.
And I know him, but look, I've got in trouble for saying that before with people. Some people have said, "Oh, hang on, don't call it an excuse, Stephen. This is how I feel. I'm concerned. I'm worried. I'm genuinely scared about burning myself or poisoning the family or all that stuff." Yeah. That is all real and valid. But at the end of the day, it is an excuse in a way that we make it an excuse. to then not do it. It comes from a good place, but it becomes an excuse. And I think that's what it is. Although in saying all this, I know. Now I kind of want to. Well, yeah, I kind of want to keep the excuse. I don't mind buying in, right? So
well, we got the convenience now as well, right? Where, to be honest, you can live off takeaways. You can have a delivery. Finances
well, not for long, but you can
available.
Live.
Yeah, but but the convenience is you can have something in your at your doorstep in 30 minutes. But the fact is, I actually did enjoy it. It was nice, and plus it makes you think, I want to try something else now. I'm going to buy a different packet of pre-made mix and try it. I know it's not the perfect. I'm not a chef by any means.
I love pre-made mix. It just makes me feel.
It was nice. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
How did we get onto this? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
well,
the blind kitchen.
It was a bit of a weird week, right? Because we started off there, and then we had Tuesday off. Of course, we had Tuesday off to mark Truth and Reconciliation Day. Very important day to mark, and of course, AMI Audio had some wonderful programming around that, as did many other Canadian broadcasters as well. A good opportunity to learn about this day and understand it. And then, of course, we came back on Wednesday, right back in with the news from Amazon. I'm a bit
so
Meta obsessed at the moment. From Amazon with their new devices, and we jumped straight into that. We had our live stream with David Ward. We did that, and then we did, of course, the main episode that aired yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. But today, I just feel like today I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to chill out a bit today. I think my credit card is, yes. I'm not.
Here we go. Here's the gold. This is what we want to get into. Your new toys, sir.
I bought things. What
did you buy?
Stuff. I bought a thing. Well, okay, so I wasn't going to buy an iPhone. Well, actually, okay, I tell a lie. I was going to buy an iPhone. I had it in my head I was definitely going to buy an iPhone because I was really struggling with the size of the 16 Pro Max. Didn't like it, didn't love it, didn't want it. So that was getting traded in. I had a few other bits. I had, gone round to the family house. I'm saying, right, what do you all have? You don't need any more. Are you using the iPad? If not, if you haven't picked it up in 3 days, it's going straight into the trade-in bin as well.
You're like a tech magpie, aren't you?
Yeah.
You just take anything.
Do you watch that? Do you use that watch? No? Okay, I'm having it.
Wait. Let's just roll back a minute. I see where this is going. What did we say after the Apple event? What were you interested in from the Apple event?
Well, initially
iPhone-wise?
I thought that Air sounds really nice, but there were so many concerns around the battery and just, the general design of it being, would it be enough of a phone? Is it one of those where you feel like...
What's the compromise here? Yeah.
Well, it felt very MacBook to me in the same sense of if I bought a MacBook Air, would I always be wishing I'd bought the MacBook Pro? Would I always be feeling like I was missing something? And so
it's almost burnt into us, isn't it?
It is, and it's
Pro. If you can get Pro, go Pro. Yeah,
but it's also built into by the marketing team at Apple as well, right? It's built to make you think, well, one step up. Okay, I'll go there. And the Pro Max, it gives you options, right? So if I didn't want the size of the Pro Max, I could get the Pro. But I wasn't keen on going down the Pro route this time around. So I thought, okay, kind of writing off the Pros. The Air sounds nice, but realistically, I think my takeaway was the 17 is the best value phone out there.
I'd go with that, yeah.
16E is lovely, but there's a few things you're missing. And I think if you wanted all of the new features, good camera, MagSafe, which was a big one. Well, MagSafe was a big one for me.
From the 16E, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the 16 to the 17, then I would say, definitely you would want to go down the 17 route.
So it was the entry-level 17 you were thinking about?
That was where I was kind of heading. So I go into the store and I get hands-on with the iPhone Air. And my first thoughts are, oh dear, got a problem here. I really like this phone. I like the style. I thought because it's a bigger phone, it's bigger. It kind of sits in between the iPhone 16 or 17 Pro Max and the iPhone 17, right? In terms of size, it's 6.5 inch. Does not feel that big. Does not feel that big in the hand. And it's partly, I think, due to the weight of the phone. It is so light. And I think it was Joanna Stern, our good friend Colin Hughes, was commenting on it from a physical disability perspective, talking about the lightness and how that will make a big difference to him. And that, of course, is part of my thinking as well because of the essential tremor. So I'm thinking that would be useful. Joanna Stern called it the bed phone. And I thought that was an interesting term. She says, when you're lying in bed and you're holding your phone up to watch something, you get fatigue in your hands by constantly holding up your phone. And she said, with this, it's so light, you don't get that. And that to me was kind of a sell, because I'm like, I'm looking for something which is light, not so much so I can, lie in bed and watch videos. I'm generally putting the phone off to the side to listen to stuff. But I'm thinking, okay, this could be it. This could be the one. And I bought one.
Hey, and it was the one.
Yeah.
So interesting. The amount of people that are, a little bit nervous about the Air, and you can understand why. It's a new thing. Is there going to be any issues that are going to be revealed later on? They've already been trying to bend it in various contraptions.
Yes.
Apparently, it's very, 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 very strong, so that's not an issue. But you're always a little bit wary. You don't want to be the first in and find the problems. But everyone that's gone into the Apple Store and gone hands-on have gone, oh, it's nice. I mean, I'm going, why do we keep going for thin? I don't care about thin. I want thicker, more battery. I don't care about thin. But at the same time, I'm thinking, oh, if it's a different form factor and it feels like a different phone, I'm kind of interested as well. Everyone seems to love the design.
The design is really nice. And when you get hands-on with it and you actually feel it, I think ultimately what it is it feels different. It just doesn't feel like another iPhone. And I think that's always the thing when you buy these new devices. Immediately there's a sense of, okay, I noticed some improvements here, or, minor improvements there. The camera's maybe a little bit better, whatever it might be. But at the heart of it, it's the same device, right? It's just the same thing.
Yeah, we've all had that feeling, especially when you update to the latest OS anyway. So as soon as you update your old phone to, iOS 26, it's like, yeah, actually, I'm not sure I could tell the difference depending on the age of the phone.
No, absolutely not. And that's exactly how I felt about, the 17. It's like, it's the same phone. I've got the 16. So 17 is just the same thing. So I get it home, I unbox it, and, in there you've got the USB-C cable, USB-C to USB-C cable. You've got the phone, and that is it. That's all there is. No need stickers anymore. That's all you get. And I got it powered up. I did buy the MagSafe battery pack because I kind of felt I should. I almost felt it was almost obligatory that I buy it, although of course it's not. But, I felt in case I don't know yet what the situation is with the battery on this thing. What's it going to be like? How's it going to behave? And, the guy in the store was saying to me, well, of course you're a voiceover user. You'll use screen curtain. I was like, 10 points to you.
Well done.
Because you knew screen curtain. And he's like, well, that will make a difference to the battery. Not a huge amount, he said, but it will have an impact on being able to, save some battery life. He said you might even find you can scrape an extra hour out of it along the day. So don't know how true that is, but that was his comment as we were going through the process. So I get it home, I start trialing it, I get into it. And I must admit, after day one, I'm thinking, I've kind of now got used to it, right? I've got used to the style of it. Then I'm starting to think, this just feels like any other iPhone. It really does.
People, it's not shiny anymore.
There are people who are online who can tell you or will tell you that they notice a huge difference in terms of processing, power, or cameras better, or I was on an IRA call and it was just so much better. I'm sorry, I don't buy any of that. I just don't. And I if you're moving from the 16 Pro Max to the 17 Pro Max, I believe you even less. Because how can you honestly notice? I mean, what are you doing on that device where you're noticing the difference to that degree? I think it's a little bit of a placebo, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Especially that. Now, if you're going from the 11 or an SE, not 16E, an SE, say second generation with the Touch ID or button on it, up to say a 17 Pro Max, for example, yeah, I think you're going to notice a difference. You will notice a snappiness, sharpness to the whole
more
thing.
responsive. Yeah, of course.
But even then, how much are you going to notice? Because even when I go back the way, I don't think these older iPhones are that unresponsive. That's been my experience. I tried. So I had an iPhone 11 that was trading in, and I was resetting it. And as I'm going through, I'm thinking, this is actually quite snappy. This is all right. So as I was thinking about the trade-in process and what I was going to go for, I actually upgraded it to iOS 26 just to see how it was, and it was fine. I mean, okay, it might not be great once I start getting into some serious stuff, but then what is the serious stuff that we're doing? That's often the question I've got. What is it we're doing on our phones that require all this power?
Yeah. No, look, as long as it's not taking 3 seconds to register a swipe as I was swiping through things, then it's fine, right? And I've never had an issue where, I've used an older phone and thought, oh, this is unusable. The case is I'm missing a feature.
Yeah.
In the case it may be the Apple Intelligence features that I'm looking for, or whatever it may be, I'm missing a feature, and that's the reason. The biggest problem I find with older phones is purely down to the battery health, because it's slowing itself down, to keep trying to preserve the battery life. So replace a battery on an iPhone 11, 10, and I'm sure it's absolutely fine again. You're not going to notice the difference, but it's the missing features.
People don't realize, and it only took me a while to realize this as well, that, the iPhone will become less responsive as the battery ages. So voiceover users will notice a lag. I would imagine visually you notice a lag as well, as things don't maybe move as smoothly on the screen.
I'm not convinced you do. I think we're far more connected to the interface than a visual user is. I think so.
Right, you think so? So you think we'd notice it more?
Yeah, because, we're waiting. We're almost poised. We're swiping through. We're waiting to find that element that we know is 7 swipes down this app.
Yeah.
And we're going, swiping through. And if you notice, it's almost like wearing, your Bluetooth headset. And the lag for us is just, it's so frustrating, right? But someone else, what lag? What are you talking about? But for us, it's so noticeable because we are, I don't know. And like I say, I think we're more connected with it.
Well,
we're
also,
just better.
Of course we just are. Blind people are better than everyone else. And that is absolutely the view of AMI. So here's the thing. Battery life is always going to be the one that I think a lot of people were going to want to know about, because, that was the big concern with this particular device.
Yes.
So I charged it up. I actually got it to pretty much, I didn't charge it at all, didn't put it anywhere near a charger until the end of the night. It was actually timed really nicely. But the first day I had it, the battery lasted pretty much till the end of the night, and then it died. And I put it on the charger overnight, so gave it a full charge overnight. Next morning, took off the charger at 8 a.m. and I used it through the course of the day, and probably more than I would normally, because I was setting it up, I was downloading apps. I mean, I'd done all the...
new. Of course.
Well, bear in mind, okay, so the first day, I should say, I had done all the setup, right? So I'd done all the, the transferring and the, putting all my apps on it and getting it all set up and doing that transfer from the old phone using the connection.
Cable or wireless?
Well, see, this cable thing, I see people talking about the cable thing. There was no option for cable. And when I plugged the cables in, nothing changed or did anything. It seemed to still want to download from the other phone, but it didn't matter whether the cable was plugged in or not. All it seemed to do was want to charge the other phone. So I don't know what that was about. The cable thing didn't make any sense to me. I did read people saying they'd done it that way and it was much faster, but that wasn't an option. The only, even when connected to each other, it's still the only option was to download from iCloud or transferred over the device. But again, as the transfer was happening, I unplugged the cable. Nothing stopped. It just carried on.
It's just carried on.
So it must have been doing it over Wi-Fi. Anyway, did that on the first day. So that was a lot of work on that. And obviously on that first day, the phone really gets a hammering because it's doing a lot of stuff. You notice your phone will heat up quite a lot in that first day.
Well, that's another point, actually. Some of the reviews I've seen are saying about the heat becoming a problem. Not to the extent that it overheats, but you can definitely feel the heat.
No different to any other iPhone I've had.
Yeah, true.
No different at all.
Okay.
I mean, the iPhone 16 would heat up to the point where you'd be almost concerned for its safety.
Yeah. Mine got hot when I updated to iOS 26. I mean, the hottest I've ever felt it. The screen was hot.
It was boiling.
It was,
So, no difference on that at all. So you have to kind of write that first day off. But the second day, as I say, took it off the charger, fully charged to 100% on day 1, or day 2 at this stage, I guess.
Yeah.
So 8 a.m., take it off the charger, had a full day of, and fairly, on FaceTime calls, on some Zoom calls. I was downloading apps. I was logging into apps. I was using the phone fairly consistently through the day, and probably a little bit more than even I would normally. And at 10 o'clock that night, I got a 10% notification of battery performance. Battery was at 10%. And by about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, we were pretty much down to the 1%.
Okay.
I don't think that's bad.
No, that's good.
No,
there's
obviously caveats here, right? I was in the house all day. I did not put it on a charger all day. made sure not to do that. So did not put it on a charge the whole day. But the thing is, when you go out, it's different. I think we use our phone even more in some ways, especially when you start to think about IRA calls or using GPS or all those kind of things. That's really where it starts to eat into the battery life. Yes. That will be the test that will be most interesting. How will it cope with all that? And that is where I think the MagSafe battery will come into its own. And it's a shame we need it, but I think you will. Because, you know, I've experienced this too many times with other phones. And I've experienced the same, by the way, with the 16 and the Pro Max and everything else. The battery
is exactly
does
what I was
drain.
just going to say. I mean, you mentioned getting the MagSafe battery, like it almost, you know, it's a necessity, but you could argue that for any phone. My phone right now, a 15 Pro, you know, that I've got to charge that 3 times during the day because of the battery health, obviously, because of the age of it. But seeing as this is a brand new phone, we're talking about your iPhone Air here, a full day of, and it's going to be greater than average use on that second day, as you said. It's going to be greater than the usual day. So.
Which is then kind of in that middle ground between an average day and an actual, you know, full-on day, right? It's kind of in the middle of that, where you're on the road.
I'm quite impressed with that.
Yeah, so was I. So was I, if I'm honest. I kind of thought that's not bad, actually. I was expecting to get to about 7 or 8 o'clock and it would be telling me 20 or even 10%. But the fact that it was still going, and to be fair, I mean, I was going to bed about 10:30, 11, and that is when it was kind of, I hadn't died, didn't die once, didn't die at all. I put it on the charger and it was still there and it was fine. So,
talking of dying, my keyboard is telling me it's about to die, so I'm just going to plug it in a moment. So carry on.
Please do. Yeah. It's just funny. As soon as you mentioned charge, you notice that something will just die in your house with a battery in it. It's funny, actually. I've often thought, should I just plug in these MX Keys keyboards, you know, with a USB cable and just do it that way? Just leave it that way, because it's not like we move. I mean, it doesn't move anywhere, does it? I mean, it's just sitting there all the time.
In.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to do that, but of course it means, you know, I can't just plug a cable in like I've just done, leaning across everything on my desk. You've got to route it, which means crawling underneath your desk. I can't do that. That's
what, to make it look nice or what?
Yeah, to make it look nice. Well, not to make it, you know, you got to feel nice, haven't you?
Oh, my solution to that, coily cables. Coily
cables.
Are
so stuck in the 80s.
I love a coily cable.
My worry, going back to the battery life, is not so much like you're getting a full day out of it. I would expect that. Okay, it's cool. It's very good. My worry is the battery health over time, because it's a smaller battery. Is it going to degrade faster? So at the end of the 12 months, are you going to be at 80% battery health?
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, obviously time will tell on that, and we'll hear about that. But so far, when it comes to actually how much, you know, usable time you get out of the Air, seems perfectly in line with everything else.
Now, I did put a case on it because, you know, I'm not a savage. I'm not going to walk around with it naked.
So now it's the same thickness as an iPhone Pro.
Well, so the actual case I got it's a Beats case that comes with it. Or not with, I should say. Well, it does if you buy it. But it's a Beats case, which is in, I believe, a blue color. The phone itself is in sky blue, if anyone cares about that. Anyone care? No? Okay.
No.
Camera, so here's the interesting thing. I did a couple of IRA calls, and I have a bit of a hunch here that, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this. I honestly don't know. But I have a hunch that the idea that you hear a lot in the blind community that you must have the Pro Max phone or the Pro phone because you get a better camera. The camera's better, and IRA and Be My Eyes and Seeing AI can see more with this camera. I think that's a myth. I think it's nonsense. And I say that because...
Nonsense? That's harsh.
Well, I think it is because it's the same camera in every single phone. The only difference is that the higher up the chain you go, you get more cameras with different types of lenses, so ultra-wide or telephoto. But the question is, do any of these apps use those lenses, or do they just use the standard camera, the main 48 megapixel camera that's on the back of the phone? Does it use the telephoto? Does it use the ultra-wide? I don't know if they do. Now, we're going to investigate this a bit more. We're going to be speaking to some people about this, because I'm not the only one who has this question, but I hear it a lot. And I think it's perpetrated by some people who say, it's often the case, someone says it on a review, oh, you must buy this because you got to buy the iPhone Pro Max because it's better than everything and it's got better this, better that. And please don't tell me about LiDAR. I'm not interested. I mean, they make out that LiDAR is some great, amazing thing.
It is.
Yeah, it might be. But honestly, how many people use it every day? I bet very few.
Yeah. Again, I put that down to the convenience of using it. It's just maybe the camera control button is the answer to LiDAR, because you can set that to open magnifier.
Yeah, or if you've, I don't know if you figured this out yet, but I've actually set mine to open Be My Eyes.
Oh, is it in there? I didn't think it was.
No, it's not in there. But what you can do is you can use a new automation feature inside the Shortcuts app. And you go and you create a new automation, and basically when an app opens, that button can open. So you've got what have you got? Camera, you've got magnifier, code scanner, I think is one. There's something else I think in there. You can choose one of those apps. Now I don't use code scanner very often.
Yeah.
Although there's a funny story to that, but we'll come back to that. But I don't use code scanner very much, right? At all. So I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll use that. So whenever I press that button and it opens code scanner, it's now set to instead open Be My Eyes instead. So when I press the camera control button, it actually goes straight into Be My Eyes. So you can basically trick the phone into, or trick the button into opening a different app.
So you're saying in the Shortcuts app under iOS 26, when you can set it so one app opens another app?
Basically, yeah. When you open this app, it opens the other one.
Wow. Okay. Why would they do that?
It's not a shortcut. It's an automation.
Automation, yeah.
So you find that under automations. It's pretty cool.
That's even easier to set up, though. That's a bonus.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, you did it, so yeah.
If I could do it, I mean, good God, if I can do it, anyone can do it. But it is pretty cool that you can basically have any app launched. Now, the only thing is, of course, that does mean that if you need the code scanner app, you're going to always end up with Be My Eyes. It's not just about the button.
Right. So if you ask Lady S to open code scanner,
she'll open Be My Eyes.
Oh.
Now, that was fine until I was in the Apple store, because I actually did it on the 16 before I'd gone into the store. And the guy in the store said, we need to ask you to scan this QR code. And I'm going, that's going to be fun. So I forgot for a second. So I opened up the QR code thing, and it immediately opened up Be My Eyes. And I'm like, okay. Thankfully, of course, you can still scan QR codes in the camera app. You don't really need to open it. It's a bit more fiddly, but you can do it. For the amount of times I'm doing it, it probably makes more sense just to do it that way. But yeah, you can therefore actually have your camera control button open other apps. Sadly, only one app, but it's better than nothing.
But can you actually go to a specific feature? Like in Shortcuts, you could set it so take a picture and describe with Be My Eyes, right? Because that's a sub-feature or sub-action in the Be My Eyes entry. Can you do that, or does it just take you to, just opens Be My Eyes, the app?
Well, that's what I'm doing with it, but I can't imagine that you couldn't say open shortcut, and then whatever shortcut you want it to run, it would go off and run.
That's true. Oh, okay.
So you're kind of creating another action button for yourself.
The world is your hoister, as they say.
I mean, it could be a little bit easier. They could just say select app in the options, to which app you want this particular camera control button to press. But I guess it's all related to the camera. I think that's the whole thing, right? It's supposed to be camera apps.
You need to find a supported app that does show up in the camera control list. Something you're never going to use, and then
you can just
set that to
override it.
Be My Eyes.
Yeah. So, like I say, I mean, I think LiDAR... Yeah, I was talking about LiDAR, right? And how LiDAR is often sold as this idea that, everyone, blind person, should just buy the Pro because it's got LiDAR in it. A lot of people I speak to, they say, yeah, okay, I get it. It's nice. I've used it a couple of times, honestly, but just get Be My Eyes, or I get Ira to help me, or whatever. So, I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced that LiDAR is necessary.
The camera's... But look,
my thing here is, Shaun, I just don't always see the point in spending... look, if you've got the money to go and spend it, right? If you want to go and buy an iPhone Pro Max, or you can afford that on the contract or whatever, great. Go and enjoy yourself. but a lot of people can't. So saying to somebody who may have limited funds, look, you've got to buy the Pro Max cause, it's just not, it's disingenuous to me. I don't like it. I don't like saying it. I don't think it's fair. You could live on the 16E and you'd be fine.
Yeah, but this is the tech world, Stephen Scott. How often do we say, look, buy the best you can afford?
Yeah. But you might not be able to afford. Yeah,
because you future-proof as much as you can. If you're not upgrading your phone every year, which very few people do, if you're upgrading every 3 or 4 years or 5 years even, then it may be worth spending that extra money for the Pro just to keep it going as long as you can.
I'm not convinced by that.
I, to be honest, as I'm saying it, I'm thinking that's not so much of an issue in the Appleverse because the support for older iPhones is absolutely great, I've got to say.
I think the issue you keep coming up against, and I think you've absolutely pinpointed it, is battery. That's always the issue that comes up. Like the 13 Mini was a great phone. A lot of blind folk loved that. It was the battery that was just the killer in it. It just didn't last. Now, interestingly, with the battery in the iPhone Air, apparently, I didn't know this, but it was the same battery that was inside the 16 Pro.
Yeah, well, that's like they're saying the battery life is the same, isn't it? Or even, they say a little bit better. I can't remember. But the equivalent is to the 16 Pro. So that's why it should be beautiful. But then again, the battery may be the equivalent to the 16 Pro, but then you've upped the processor. And I know with each generation, apparently it gets more efficient when it comes to energy, but I'm not entirely convinced by that. So it all sort of levels out. But hey, all-day battery life is good. Look, the other controversy with the Air is the speaker. The single speaker. How can we possibly deal with one speaker, Stephen Scott?
How can I manage? Look, okay, I'll be totally honest. I don't really find it a problem. In fact, in some ways, I quite like it. I read a review by another blind guy called Aaron, who's on Mastodon. You've probably, if you're following Mastodon, then you might have seen it. Or at least if you're on the Tech VI list, the Google list, then you by David Goldfield, you might have spotted this. It's a very interesting review, very good review, and it kind of tipped the iPhone Air in my favor a little bit, or towards me a little bit. But he talked about that, and one thing he referred to, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, Aaron, but the fact that when we're out and about, one thing we often do as blind people is have our iPhones right up to our ear, so turned up and kind of towards our ear. So we're listening out of the bottom of the phone all the time. And he said it always looks like we're trying to swallow our phones in public.
What, through our ears?
Yes.
Yes. I did read that review. Yeah, I remember that very well. Yeah.
And it's so true. It is so true. We're always walking around with our phones up to our ears. Now, this way, of course, it kind of stops that behavior because you don't do that.
Well, no.
The speaker's right in front of
your ear. But it just looks normal.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? It kind of normalizes that experience so that there's no audio coming out of the bottom of the phone. There's no grills on the bottom apart from for the microphone. Really, other than the USB-C socket down, there's nothing because obviously everything's now in the top of the phone. The speaker, look, I think if you are someone who has issues with hearing, any kind of hearing issues, mild to moderate hearing loss, I think you definitely want to check this out, because I did notice when I was in the iPhone or the Apple Store and I was comparing the iPhone 17 with the iPhone Air, clearly big difference. I mean, for a start, it's just as simple as you've got two speakers versus one, so you've got half the volume coming at you right away. So did I find it challenging enough in that environment? Not really. But that was me. I've got good hearing. If you don't have good hearing, I think that might be an issue for you. At its loudest, I would say voiceover. For me, I do have to keep voiceover's volume fairly high. Almost at the top all the time.
Yeah.
Even in the house.
I always do anyway. Yeah.
And look, it's all personal preference on that one, right? But if you're someone who always keeps it at full volume, you might think, this is a bit quiet now. But I don't notice it because the sound is coming directly at you, so I don't really mind it too much. If they'd only had the speaker on the bottom, I think would have been a problem. Okay. And of course, the other thing is, if you do ever use your phone in landscape mode to listen to anything, it is a bit weird because the sound only comes from the left.
That's just what I was going to get to if you missed the stereo effect, because although it's so strange because I can't look at the screen, but if I'm watching something, sometimes I do. I have the phone let down in front of my face while I'm watching Netflix, just listening to it, obviously. It's still a habit I'm into of having the phone in front of me. And sometimes that stereo effect, I go, wow, that sounds really good. You can really tell the spatial stereo. And yeah, but is that something you miss?
No.
I mean, to be honest, I don't do that often at all. It's very rare. So it's something I wouldn't miss.
Well, I mean, things like YouTube, I've stopped doing that thing where I turn the phone to the side to listen to YouTube because I find it just easier to have the phone in portrait mode, because then I can easily get to the pause button. I can easily find my way around.
I'm the same.
So for me, it doesn't really make any difference. And again, we're probably going to be listening. If it's really interesting content, look, I'm either wearing my Metas or I'm wearing my AirPods. So if I'm on a train or I'm out and about, I'm using those devices to listen. I'm probably not going to be listening to voiceover out in the street anymore, especially with the Metas these days. So it's only in the house I'm really noticing it. And I don't know. I think sometimes having a bit less volume booming out of that phone is not a bad thing. Someone said to me the other day, why do they keep adding bass to all these earbuds and everything? It's like, could we have some less bass in our lives? Do we need all this bass? And especially when it's just voiceover, it suddenly makes, it feels like voiceover's gone to the rave. Yeah. And, I don't know if I like that personally.
VoiceOver is doing a movie trailer voiceover.
Yeah, and it's like, no, I don't need this. I just want you to tell me what's going on. But no, I have to say, so far, really liking it, really enjoying it. I don't have any desire to take it back, so I think the iPhone Air is the one for me. What I want you guys to do, though, is I want you to get in touch with questions, because, I know a lot of shows will do kind of in-depth reviews and stuff, and that's great. I think for us, though, what I prefer to do is find out what you want to know. So get in touch in all the usual ways, and we'll give you the details in a second. But get in touch and tell us what you'd like to know about the phone. Maybe something you'd like me to try, test. Let me know, and we can put the phone through its paces. We're going to be doing this in a very similar way. The idea actually came from WeWalk, because I'd got the WeWalk Smart Cane. I was talking about it for a couple of episodes, and we get so many questions. And you might be thinking, what's happened to those questions I sent in? Well, we've grouped them all together, and I'm going to do a special episode where we actually walk through answering your questions.
We walk through.
Hey, a wee walk through. There we go. That's what we're going to call it. The wee walk through. A wee walk with a wee walk. No, that doesn't make sense.
We've done that.
But basically going to go through answering your questions. I think that's a cool way to do this, because then you get to know what you want to know, right? So if you have any questions about the iPhone, send them in, and I will put it through its paces. But, the question I'm going to get asked a lot is, how does it perform with voiceover? Is it any different? Honestly, I've noticed very little difference to last year's phones. I noticed very little difference to my iPhone 11 when I updated it, apart from obviously battery life and heat, which I did notice on the iPhone 11. It got hotter, the battery died quicker. But other than that, honestly, I don't think there's a huge difference this year in terms of certainly voiceover. There's no major difference at all. Camera, I still think, and I said it earlier, I think it's a bit of a myth around how good these cameras are and one versus the other and all that. I still think if it's the same camera across the range, with the absence of maybe ultra wide and telephoto and all that. Again, if Aira can use it, what we don't know is, do they actually have any use for that? Can they access it? I've heard that, they can, but I've not heard that from anybody at Aira. So we're going to be talking to them in particular about this, because Aira specifically has got some additional controls, it would appear, when they're connecting to your device. So they may be able to access a wider lens camera.
You can turn on your torch, your flashlight.
Well, there you go, right? So there's more control.
Can they switch to, telephoto lens and zoom in on something?
In which case, that might be an argument. And I'm happy to be wrong on this. But I'd rather know the fact rather than just these statements that get flung out there by individuals. And I'm like, but I don't know this to be true. So anyway, that's my first thoughts. As I say, email in. We'll give you the details now so that you can get involved. Ask your questions, and we'll do another iPhone review down the line. This is Double Tap. Double Tap thanks Turtleback Cases for supporting this podcast and for making some of the toughest, most ergonomic leather cases for accessible devices. These aren't gimmicks, they're custom-fitted, USA-made carry cases for the gear you depend on, including the Selvas Sense Player, Blind Shell Classic 3, Mantis Q40, Orbit Reader 20, and more. Whether it's for school, work, or travel, Turtleback cases are built to protect your device wherever life takes you. Get 12% off with code DT12 and enjoy worldwide FedEx shipping with full tracking. Browse now at turtlebacklv.com.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback@doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, Shaun, remember those books at school you used to get that you would say, okay, so choose the next step in the adventure. You got to go to page 5 if you want this to happen, or page 12.
Yes, I used to buy all those, Skeleton Mountain, and turn to page 65 if you continue, or 5. Yes?
Yeah, so you're going to decide what happens next on the show.
Oh, okay.
So your choices are, I can talk about something else I've bought, or we do emails. You decide. Have the decision. Hang on, is it that one? There it is. Right, go.
Thank you. What else did you buy, Stephen Scott?
Oh, I knew you were going to go down that road.
Listeners. I'm so curious. What did you buy?
Don't you love how I managed to make this your fault? Yeah, isn't that fantastic manipulation?
Throw me under the bus. We'll get some feedback in. We'll make this quick. What did you buy?
I bought Meta Ray-Ban Gen 2.
Really?
Yes.
Now, okay. Explain yourself.
Well, just because they were available. Basically, Oakley. Well, there's a funny story about this. So Oakley Vanguard isn't out yet. I don't think it's pre-order still. I think it's about 29th of October. It actually launches.
Right.
When I left the Apple store that day, I was feeling, a little bit because I didn't tell you the full story, right? So I traded in. And I spent a very little amount of money, thanks to trade-in, on the entire things I bought. I barely spent any money at all. In fact, so much.
I love it how you say that, sort of ignoring the fact of the thousands of pounds you spent on the equipment in the first place. But okay, yeah.
But, once you trade in, and I actually spent less in the store, but probably the smallest amount you could spend in the store. Because what I spent, there's nothing in the store that was available for that price.
Yeah.
That's how little I spent.
Could have got a coffee from a coffee shop.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It cost me a coffee and I got a new phone. I also got a new watch as well. I got the Series 11. Going to talk about that at some point.
Don't just throw that in there like it's nothing.
Well, it's not nothing. But, I got that as well because, why not? And I wanted to buy the AirPods Pro 3, but they weren't in stock. And I have to tell you, it's been really hard to get them. And I was talking to Mark, our good friend, and of course, regular contributor here, Mark Afalala. He was trying to get them as well. He got them ordered on the day of launch and still hasn't received them. I think they have really underestimated how popular these are going to be. I think there's a factory somewhere that people are being whipped into shape saying, get these out the door. They're selling like hotcakes.
Do you really think that? I think that Apple are well aware how popular the AirPod Pros
no, well, maybe they knew they were popular, but I don't think they thought they would sell quite as well as they've done because I've never seen at this stage stock levels so low on a product. And actually, by the way, not just on them, on certain phones as well. Trying to get a 17 Pro or a 17, almost impossible to get at the moment. So either there's a sort of bigger issue going on, but it's very unusual to see that. So I have to tell you, and before I get into the story of the Metas, I do have some news for you.
Oh. Breaking news.
What's happened?
So I was trying to get hold of the AirPods Pro 3. Can't get them anywhere, like I say. And this morning, I found them on a store. And I thought, and this store doesn't deliver. Terrible, I know. They'll be finished by Christmas. But they don't deliver. Well, they do deliver, but not in this particular case, they didn't deliver. And I thought I could go out and get them. And so I mentioned this to you earlier. I was thinking, before the show, I could nip out to the store, go pick them up. Mm-hmm. But when I tried to buy them, it said they were out of stock. So someone's got them.
Of course.
Well. But just before we came on air, I thought, I'm just going to, kind of try again, just for a laugh, see if they've got any stock all of a sudden. And they did.
Oh, they came in?
Came back in. So I ordered them. And then I did... Well, you can decide for yourself if this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I called a taxi company and said, look, here's the thing. I would like to get these things that I've ordered from this store, but I don't want to leave the house. So could you go get them for me?
Oh, dear. Okay.
And I have to say, they said, yes, we do that all the time for people, so not a problem. And I said, really? Really? Oh, you're going to wish you never said that. I'm never leaving the house again. But yeah.
Stop by McDonald's while you're bringing it home.
So yeah, the taxi company went off and got them. They had someone actually just dropping off nearby, so they popped into the store, and in my hand, they're here. The AirPods Pro 3. They've arrived within 10 minutes.
I so much want to shout and berate you for doing that, but I used to do the same thing before Uber delivery and all these takeaway delivery apps.
Yeah.
I used to do the same thing with taxi companies as well. So yeah, why not? I believe it's even a service now with Uber. They do currying and things like that. So yeah, okay, no, that's ingenious, sir. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, well, I didn't know this, but our good friend Mr. Aflalo was telling me this morning that that's exactly what happened. What Instacart is. I didn't know that. I didn't really know what Instacart was, but he was saying that Instacart, you can go on, you can pick a store, peruse the items in that store, and then they will send someone to pick it up, very much like Uber will. I know that Uber is launching, is it with Best Buy across the US, or at least across North America? There's talk of it coming to Canada soon as well, but you'll be able to do essentially Best Buy orders through Uber. We don't have any of that, I don't think, at the moment. At least I don't. Where I live, we don't even have Uber. So what does that tell you? The dark ages.
Are you going to tell people the name of the store in case here in the UK people are looking for these?
So it's called Argos.
Of course.
The Greek god
Argos
of shopping.
In the UK?
Greek god of shopping. Argos, yes.
The price, were they more expensive?
Oh, no, exactly the same. I just had to pay, £10 for the taxi.
Beautiful.
So £10 delivery, within 20 minutes. That's not bad.
You got the watch, you got the AirPod Pro 3s, and the Meta Ray-Bans. You've got everything.
I have the whole set.
Have you pre-ordered the new Echo Smart speaker?
Absolutely. My credit card company loves me. My wife, we're working out. But no, so this is
Meta
cool.
Ray-Bans.
So Meta Ray-Bans. Now, look, I haven't had them long. First experience, I will say, and a lot of people talking about audio, and that's the big thing, I think. Audio and camera are going to be the two big things. Battery, I guess, as well.
Of course.
The talk of the battery being...
double
8 hours. Yeah, 8 hours, or well, slightly less than double. I think it was 5 hours originally you would get out of them.
They always refer to it as double the battery life, every review I see. And yeah, okay, I've heard varying reports on the battery life.
So have I. I've heard reports of actually it's better than they're making out. Again, I think it depends how much you're using them. The problem is we're always passing
them for.
Well, we're passing a lot of audio through them, so we're using them probably more than most people would. Now, there are ways to deal with this with the battery. I saw one tip was to turn off the HEY Meta functionality. So you would, what is it, a triple tap and hold or triple tap and...
a 3-finger tap and hold. So a single tap with 3 fingers on the touch area is a gesture you can turn on in the Meta AI app, and that will trigger your response or the wait.
So that kind of cuts down the always listening thing, which is good.
Which
so
saves battery life.
Saves some battery life as well. But I mean, look, I've seen people saying they're getting up to 9 hours on these. I'm still at the early days of using them. I haven't had full days yet with them, so we shall see. But in terms of, I can talk about audio. Camera, I always find it hard to know with this. I did a Be My Eyes call. I asked how clear the image was. They said it was very clear. They said that about the last one as well. So, and again, it all depends on signal and where you are. I mean, if I was...
It's the connection, it's that internet connection that makes a big difference there. But 3K, it's got to be better. If it makes a difference, who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's that thing. I mean, it's so funny, right? We're talking about 48 megapixel cameras on phones, and we're like, oh, well, you got to buy this phone because it's got a better camera than the other one with the 48 megapixel. And it's like, well, there's a 12 megapixel inside the Meta Ray-Ban, and, Be My Eyes can use it fine. So I don't know how good these cameras need to be anymore to be useful for these particular tasks.
Well, you're right. When it comes down to the sensor resolution, right, 12 megapixel, as I've been saying for years, when it comes to OCR, we're past what we need anyway. But with these services, video assistant services, I don't know. I think it's more important the field of view. How wide an angle can it see? Because, you don't have to turn your head so far around to scan the entire thing, and the person at the other end maybe can see some detail to the periphery that, other cameras may miss. So I don't know if that's as, a factor in this as well. If it's got larger wide-angle field of view?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know, right? And it's one of those you'd have to spend a real amount of time with, say, a volunteer going through that and saying, okay, what can you see? What if I put my hands out? Where does it? And that's something I maybe should do.
Do a fields test. With
exactly. Nice. A field of view test with it. But no, I mean, in terms of audio, I have to say, I wouldn't say I noticed a huge difference in terms of audio quality. I thought the voice was nicer on it. I felt it was nicer. The only thing I would say is I think they've changed the angle of the speakers a little bit. Because what used to happen when I had them on my head, and it used to happen all the time, it used to really irritate me, was it felt like whenever the audio was talking or the voice was talking, it was as if it was kind of blowing in my ear. Because obviously the sound is kind of blasting out of those speakers. And it was as if I was kind of getting in my ear all the time.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, I hated it. Did not like that at all.
I never have that with the Metas. I have the Oh-Ho Sunshines, which do that constantly. Every little tiny noise they make, it's like someone's blowing in my ear. It drives me crazy. So I understand that. But I haven't had that with the Metas. But some people have said the audio is much better, but you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I played music on it. I tried it in the house, listened to some music. I just don't think I would listen to music on that kind of thing. I mean, I understand if you've got absolutely no standards when it comes to audio, then you'll maybe think it's quite good. I don't really think it's that great for listening to music. Podcasts, yes.
The Ray-Bans are great. Comparatively, they're great. Of course, they don't stand up to
considering
headphones.
what they are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
considering you're talking, this is audio that's been blasted out of speakers into your ears. Yeah. I think they're okay. Would I sit and listen to my favorite music on it? No. Definitely not.
Okay.
It wouldn't be for me. I'd much rather put on my AirPods, or I'd rather wear a pair of proper headphones. Any form of headphones, any type would be better than that in terms of quality.
I don't know about that.
In terms of quality, yeah. Even the beats.
I could sit there and watch a show, a TV show with them. Absolutely no problem. I think the audio is up there with the Bose frames, which were always the benchmark, I think, when it comes to audio.
I'll tell you my thinking on the audio, right? So I think from the Generation 1 to Generation 2, what I would notice is I often felt the audio felt a little bit, and this is going to be weird to say, but it's like it was detached more. So if I was listening to a show, like you're talking about a TV show, it would feel like I was kind of listening to it too far away from the television, right? If that makes sense.
Okay.
Whereas this, I do feel it's a little bit closer to my ears. That's the only major difference I've noticed. Did you get the same
size?
Yes. No, I did. Yes.
Okay, these are large. I'm taking it like your previous. Okay,
exactly the same size. Yeah, and
because I've been using Sarah's Meta Ray-Ban the other day, and she's got the regular size.
Oh man, couldn't possibly.
It's a better fit for me. Actually, I like it. I'm going to go regular next time.
You've lost weight. I have not. So
right, yes.
I still have a ball
weight
for
off my
face.
Head. Yeah. Very cool. So the audio is a little bit better. We'll go that far.
I'll say a little bit better. I do feel that horrible kind of blowing in my ear thing has gone away. I also don't feel I have to have them as loud either, so that's quite nice. So there's clearly a little bit of improvement in the sound. I would say overall,
you can't really tell
camera can't really tell too much from my point of view, but what I will say is that the overall fit feels lighter. And they certainly feel more snug on my face than the first gen. First generation, I was always pushing them up, constantly pushing them up, constantly. These ones don't move. I'm wearing them right now. They don't move. They haven't moved at all.
Right.
And they do feel a little bit lighter, which is actually quite nice. I don't know if that's true, if there is actually a lightness to it, or again, is that some weird placebo thing?
Perhaps your neck's got stronger.
Maybe. That's it.
To deal with your fat head.
Well, it needs to be, right? It also has to look after my gigantic head on my shoulders.
All the brains in it. There you go.
Yeah, so hang on a sec. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, here's the question. Do you feel like they're worth the money for upgrading from the Gen 1s to these? Or do you think, you know what? I'm not noticing too much of a difference.
If you were buying them for audio, I'd say no. If you were buying them for the camera, then possibly, because again, the camera's meant to be better. Again, that's hard to tell when you're blind, so I don't know. I would say the biggest reason to upgrade, and the reason I did it, was for battery. So I just want more battery life. And also I wanted a second pair so I could go between the two, and that's what I'm now able to do. So this second pair kind of makes sense to me. I mean, I haven't tried putting these in the old case. I imagine they would work, because the cases feel almost identical to each other, so it's not like it's a different case.
Actually, isn't the case different? Isn't it foldable now?
No, that's for the display. That's for the Ray-Ban with the display.
Okay. Yeah.
So, no, these ones are exactly the same. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Well, we're in sync on that one.
Yes.
Great minds think alike. Also, I believe fools seldom differ, but we'll skip past that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's good that it's the same case. So I haven't tried putting them in the other, but I can't really imagine there'll be an issue there.
Can I be honest with you? And maybe this is down to individual use case. I use these for like 30 minutes at a time when I go out, and then I put them back in the case. The battery's never been an issue for me.
So in that case, don't upgrade. Might be my advice. If you're having no issues at all, I would say hold off, because I think for you it might be the Oakley appeals or the Vanguard range that might be more appealing to you, or maybe even the one with the display with the screen reader. Oh. But I wouldn't say
feels wrong.
I think if you're having no issues right now with your glasses, I wouldn't see the jump or the reason to make the jump to Gen 2. But I think the battery is the big reason for a lot of people. Yeah,
I agree with as ever with us. It's always about the battery life, right?
Well, ironically, everything I've just said about the other phone. Now I'm like, oh no, this one I'm buying the Pro Max Ray-Bans because I want the best batteries. But I think it's because I don't want to be taking them off at all during the day. I really don't want to be taking them off all the time.
Again, it's down to use case. I say, look, the battery doesn't bother me because I wear them for an hour tops and it's fine. But then I haven't had to make a Be My Eyes call for an hour, or that 12-hour trip to California. Maybe I would start to worry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there you go.
You've been spending. Go home. Don't spend any more.
Okay, I'm at home and I'm safe. And everything's fine. Credit card is in its
They're bringing it to you through taxes. This is I'm going to have an intervention.
I know. It's all right. I think my wife's already started one. Look, we're out of time. We'll do the inbox tomorrow. I promise. It was his fault.
Sorry. Thank you. Bye-bye.